breaking news out of Kansas City, Houston at Kansas City. Kansas City, as we went on air, the last time I was able to check, Kansas City was a 2-point dog. But as we were talking about this, literally before we hit record for this show and went live, Andy Reid was saying that Patrick Mahomes will have his first test today. He'll do some work today. They'll see how it goes. That will be the determinant in terms of indications about how we can do on Sunday. He also said Hollywood Brown has a chance to play. Simon, you were saying at some other books, this line had already moved to Kansas City -1. I have not been able to check Bet365. Let me see if I can get an update here on
They're probably
Bet365.
at +1 right now for the Chiefs. That's what I think most American books are at right now.
Okay. So yeah.
+1,
Uh,
+1.5 Chiefs.
yep. Yep. You're exactly right. So it's coming down off of that news. Uh, I bet it at 2.5 yesterday. Schefter was reporting yesterday that the Chiefs don't think it's as bad as they were first concerned about. So I immediately bet it at 2.5. That's the ball game, really. Like, are you getting the best of the number? You should probably bet in the Chiefs right now. Maybe you're going to make this as Simon says. I don't know, but feels like that's what we should be doing.
I would if it was still 2.5, because even at 2.5, if it was Carson Wentz, I don't hate that number, honestly, for this Chiefs team against a Houston team, right, on a short week at home. It's like a lot of these advantages we automatically are going to give to this Chiefs team just because something, I think everyone can agree, something just seems off about that Houston team. And, the books opened this at 3.5, and it just got hammered, even when everyone thought it was going to be Carson Wentz. So they moved it 2.5, like you just said. It sat there for a good day and a half, and like I've been betting, I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
Now that it's moved, I would still bet it if you haven't. Like, if you like the Chiefs side, why not? Again, if you're scared you missed the number, go ahead, throw it in a teaser then. You can get this up to 7.5 right now at a lot of books in a 6-point teaser. Do it. Like, that's a good number. If you want to get real weird with it, pair it with the Ravens if you believe in them to win outright against Pittsburgh that night game. So, like, there's ways you can attack this if you did miss the value, but I think there's still value here. If it is Mahomes, this gets up to what, Chad? -3
At
Houston. I mean,
least.
-3
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
So to me, there's still obvious value there. Even if Mahomes is banged up, we've seen him play on injuries before, and it's still them winning by a field goal. So to me, as long as it stays at 3 or under, I'm still going to go Chiefs. And yeah, it stinks. Like we talked right before we hopped on the show, it moved right before we got on. It's like I was looking forward to talking about 2.5 again, just because again, if it is Wentz, I have no issue if you're sitting on a 2.5 ticket with Wentz. I think that's still a solid number. And on the flip side, there's no reason to chase this number for you now. Now you can be patient that if it is Wentz on Friday, this goes back up. You might even get back above 3. It might get to +3 Chiefs, +3.5 Chiefs. So definitely a number where if you missed it, you like what me and Chad are saying, you do think Mahomes toughs it out, grab it now. If you're on the flip side and you want to be on Houston, I would just keep being patient here. Like I could see this keep going down as the rumors keep swirling about Mahomes' health.
Yeah. It's interesting. You mentioned the Texans. They are still not a very good team offensively. And I was listening to Aikman last night, Troy Aikman, and they were talking about coaches and who could potentially coach the Bears. And, they mentioned Ben Johnson, they mentioned Cliff Kingsbury, they mentioned Bobby Slowick from the Texans. And there's clearly something that defenses have figured out when they're defending CJ Stroud. I don't know if you've seen it in all the film study that you do, but they are just defending him differently. And maybe they're playing safeties deeper. I don't know. But this team, even against the Dolphins, and I really liked the Dolphins last weekend. We didn't put them in the contest. I didn't bet them at 3 because it's something about it made me nervous. But this Texans offense, man, Joe Mixon just had just 23 yards rushing last weekend. Nico Collins just 17 yards receiving. The Texans won that game because Tua turned it over 3 times. CJ was sacked 4 times. They only had 3.6 yards per play, only 12 first downs. And this Chiefs defense is significantly better than the Dolphins defense. And defenses have been confusing CJ Stroud, especially on third downs. all season. Like, I don't know what you're seeing in whatever you're looking at, but what is going on with this Texans team?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing from CJ is he had a lot of confidence pushing the ball downfield last year, and that's been gone because of all the hits he's taken from behind that bad offensive line. Like you can see him either getting rid of the ball early or just taking the easy checkdowns rather than trying to make stuff happen like he did last year. So that's, I mean, again, that's the human part of it, right? Like we talked earlier in the year, Jaden Daniels, you could just tell Jaden Daniels was playing in a way that you could tell he had never been hit in the NFL before. And you saw immediately a shift in that once he did get hurt and hurt his ribs, right? He's played differently since that injury all season. So I think the same with CJ. It just seems like he's someone that was playing free last year, and this year he's taking a lot of hits. He's overthinking. And you're right. Like we've talked about it. We don't like Ben Houston as a favorite. This is another spot. They're still a favorite right now. So it's a pretty easy pick right now for us with the Chiefs.
This is how sad my life is. In the shower this morning, after I did my very aggressive, high intensity 30 minutes of rowing, I was thinking to myself, if Mahomes plays, I've got the Chiefs at 2.5. I bet I'll be able to get the Texans at +3.